gosh. The sun's out, everybody. Don't look at it because it's going to look back at you. Alright, good morning everybody. We're starting out in Alliance this morning. The date is October 21st, and it's a great day to be a badger. I'm sorry. If you know, you know. Today is my annual fall outing, so we'll get to see a lot of pretty fall colors as we work our way east on the Fort Wayne line. And that's really the plan, just to kind of start here and go east. If something happens on the Bayard line, we are definitely going to chase that too, so. A little chilly out here just after 7:30 in the morning, and it's only supposed to get up to about 60 today, and there's rain in the forecast, so an unfortunate scenario for me, but what can you do? Today's excursion, like most of them, started well before the sun came up. What was shaping up to be a rather subpar day slowly but surely became the polar opposite. Alliance is a maintenance base for both the Cleveland and Fort Wayne lines, and at 6:15 in the morning, maintainers and track inspectors are already starting their day. The first glimmers of sunlight appear over the Alliance Amtrak station. A new day's operation is about to begin.
Norfolk Southern milepost 9.8. Track 2, no defects.
At 6:30 a.m., our first train appears. Westbound 11K with a duo of ES44 DCs bringing the sunrise with them. This was the last 11K I would shoot before it was cut back to Conway in December of 2025 and replaced with the reinstated 13N.
11K clear, line of track, let's go.
Golden hour has arrived now. though its visit will soon be cut short by a burst of rain. Eastbound 258 appears, gliding through the junction into the sun. Miraculously, a solo Tier 4 is all that's needed to escape the rain.
258, somebody clear line, 1 south.
Just as forecasted, the rain appears to wash the golden sunlight away. Like the rain, the trains begin to pour in, with 66T bringing along some BNSF visitors. 66T originates as BNSF train UWGN NSD-0 at Martin, Utah, with crude oil loads from Utah Railway's Wildcat loadout. The train is interchanged to NS at Cicero, Illinois, where it runs to Delaware City Refinery in Raybould, Delaware.
Track 1, east out.
Clear, Lions, 269, main 2, 1, east out.
Another Tier 4 is seen pulling eastbound 268 as it sachets from Track 2 to Track 1. For some reason, the conductor called out as 269, the westbound counterpart. I'm not exactly sure why, probably just a mistake. 268 would clear up just in time for the rain to disperse and the Chattanooga Choo-Choo to show up, pounding the diamond westbound towards Canton. .171 is daily mixed freight from Conway, Pennsylvania to DeButt's Yard in Chattanooga, Tennessee. It hauls traffic for Canton, Mansfield, Columbus, Cincinnati, Danville, Kentucky, and Emory Gap, Tennessee. The train must mostly be empty because it only requires one engine up front and one in the middle to get it on through. I'd begin my move east on the Fort Wayne line, but I'd only make it as far as Oyster Road when 11N shows up. Another ace leader on over 10,000 feet of Detroit-bound empty auto racks.
Norfolk Southern, milepost 79.8. Track 2, no defects.
Heading east on Alliance Sebring Road, I cross over the abandoned section of NS's Lordstown Secondary to Goodman Yard. Doing that, I was shocked to see brand new crossbucks installed on the abandoned crossing signals. I know for a fact those were not there on my last drive through here, and this Google Maps image proves it. For years, there's been rumors about business possibly returning to this side of the Lordstown Secondary. Could that finally be happening? A right turn on Heacock Road brought me another surprise. A Loram Ballast Cleaner staged on the Alliance runner is being fired up and prepared for today's track work agenda. For the last several months, there's been almost non-stop track work around the Alliance area, and today appears to have more of that in store. The Loram crew, under supervision of NS Foreman Bacon and RW Jerkowitz, rolls the ballast cleaner out onto the main line with track authority from the Cleveland East dispatcher and permission on the hand throw switches on the runner. A ballast cleaner does exactly what its name says. It scoops up dirty ballast from the track bed and extracts layers of mud and debris, thus opening voids to allow moisture to escape. It spits the clean rocks back into the track bed, extending its lifetime and mitigating cost and labor compared to constantly dumping new ballast. We'll see it in action in a few minutes. Alright, we made it to Sebring. There's a 20H stopped west of Alliance right now with a trending hot bearing. Wayside saw something and made him stop. So conductor went on the ground to inspect the train, took temperatures of the wheel, temperatures of the bearing. Temps only ended up being a little bit above the ambient temperature or whatever. But Wayside said it was nothing to be a cause for concern, had him do a brake test. Brake test went well. So Wayside sent him off in the east direction. Cleveland East then gave his blessing. They're going to pick up the conductor somewhere and then continue east. In the meanwhile, I've got a 16N, a 170, and maybe a 36N on the way. So we'll be seeing those sometime soon here, and then whatever westbound traffic we have, because I don't know what we have westbound-wise. So, yeah. And not even 60 seconds later, and I already moved to Beloit, because there's a 17N coming west. He just got permission through the working limit down at PC 74. And I wanted a shot at the SAG because I haven't gotten one in a while. So we're going to get him there and then probably move back to Sebring for 20H. I don't know if he's picked up the conductor yet or not. What I didn't realize was that the 17N was on the close track, track 1 instead of track 2. He was also flying up on me. And to top it off, my SD card tried to corrupt itself right as I started recording, and I barely resolved that in time. So this is about all I got. As 20H passed me, the Loram crew was setting up shop in Beloit where I just was, so I went back there. Shortly after I arrived, they began their work. You can kind of see how this machine works. It has two large wheels with claws on either side that undercut the tie ends and scoop up the dirty ballast. The rocks move through a set of conveyor belts using elliptical screening to detect mud and debris. The gunk gets discarded into either a hopper or off to the trackside, and clean ballast is deposited out the back into the track bed. This is about as far as the ballast cleaner got when 16N came knocking on Bacon's door, looking for his turn on what is now a single-track main between Alliance and CP Murph and Salem.
Churchwood South Cleaner. Go ahead with ballast cleaner. Hey, you got a train calling for main 1.
Copy that. We got a train calling for main 1. This ballast cleaner, you clear to run that train.
Alright, roger, ballast cleaner, all in the clear, okay to run the train, 25 mile an hour.
Okay.
Roger. Churchwood Bacon, clear on 1.
Roger. 16 in.
I think you were calling us before, but we could barely make you out. We're ready. I can hear you better now.
16 in, 8007, track clear, permission by stop board 77.8. Main 1 on the track, on 25 miles per hour, city working on the service.
It's 16M with the NS 8007. Has permission past the stop board. Located at mile is CC 77.84 east direction, main number 1. Not to exceed 25 miles per hour through the working limit zone.
101 p.m., 101 p.m.
101 p.m. Thanks.
16N is the eastbound counterpart to the 17N we witnessed here earlier, running from Belt Railway of Chicago's clearing yard to Conway, Pennsylvania. He's okay for 25 miles an hour past the men and equipment. By the time 16N was by me, Cleveland East dispatcher Dave had 3 more eastbounds stacked up behind. 170 was waiting at Alliance for 12N and 18N to cut in front. I continued east to Salem, where I'd see 16N a second time, having leapfrogged it on State Route 14.
Norfolk Southern, milepost 69.01. Track 1, no defects.
We're here in Salem now. I was not expecting to leapfrog the 16N, but then I forgot how slow he was going, because not only does he have to pass that ballast cleaner at 25 miles an hour, it's on a very steep uphill grade. So 16N, being a mostly loaded, if not fully loaded train, kind of struggles with those hills. Yeah, I know the train's only so long, it's not very long, but it's really heavy when it's a loaded train. Alright, so we got 3 more eastbounds coming, 12N, 18N, and 170, and then any westbounds that end up spontaneously spawning. I forget which eastbound is first. I want to say 12, or I really don't know which eastbound is first. It's definitely either 12N or 18N, because 170 is stuck at Alliance for him. So let's see what happens. The line leader was 12N, daily manifest from Elkhart, Indiana to Conway, Pennsylvania. 12N used to run as 2 trains, the second of which being 14N. 14N would be combined with 12N in late May 2024, creating a super long, super heavy train that handles like a cinder block. Today's train is exactly that, breaking the tape measure at over 10,000 feet in length. Alright, now I just heard that 11Q just departed Conway 10 minutes ago, and it's got the 8008 leading, the boob unit, the greatest unit on NS's roster, and 4 Union Pacific locomotives, 2 Tier 4s, an AC 6000 rebuild, and an AC 44 rebuild. Give or take, because it's usually a 60-mile-an-hour train, and probably not all of those units are going to be online, I'm going to assume it's going to take about two or so hours to get to where I'm standing. I'm actually hoping I'll be in Latonia for it. I'm waiting on this first of 3 eastbounds here in Salem, and then I'll make my move east. I then wanted to try another spot east of Salem at Cunningham Road, but when I got there the gates were already down and 23G was approaching from my east, so I had no choice but to duck in. And if that wasn't enough, 18N had now appeared, passing by after 23G.
Waiting on 1 eastbound. I have a MOW ahead of you between Murph and Alliance on 2. So as soon as this 170 clears Murph, I'll kick you down to 1 track and get you going again. Over.
Roger, waiting on 1 eastbound, 170. Thank you.
No problem, man. Thank you. I can actually leave me stuff.
Okay, so we've made it to Latonia now, and behind me, right there, is an NS 1011, I think. It's an SD70 Ace. It's bad order, set out by some train, and now according to Cleveland East, it's okay to go to Conway. And also according to Cleveland East, there's a train. So anyways, as I was saying, according to Cleveland East, not only is this engine okay to go to Conway, but this 170 that's slowly peeking out from the abyss is supposed to pick it up. I don't know why they couldn't have sent a C51 or a C45 out here to get it on normal time instead of having 170 block the main trying to, you know, make this movement. But here we stand watching 170 about to grab this bad order. And I don't think I should get called in. I'm not on the right of way. I'm like in the grass, so I shouldn't get called in if I watch this. And I hope not. Oh, Gevo leader. Oh, it's 8060. Haven't I seen that unit enough already? 170 rolls to a gentle stop here at the Little Beaver Creek trailhead in Latonia. This train is counterpart to the 171 we saw earlier in Alliance, the Chattanooga Choo-Choos of the Fort Wayne line. The crew disembarks their train and hops onto the 1011 to set it up. While the 1011 is untied from the rip track, 11Q enters the scene westbound with those 4 Union Pacific units in trail behind the 8008. This clip is the reason why I love this spot for shooting trains. After 11Q passes, the 170 crew gets back on their power and pulls high of the rip track switch. The conductor gets off to open both the hand throw and the derail so the engines can drop down into the rip track. The conductor double checks both switches, then radios to his engineer to bring the power down into the couple.
Has to move radio. Shove back. About 6 to a tie.
Understand we're all lined up, derail down. You're at the tie, 6 of them.
Here.
Cleveland, 170, you picked up the engine, ready to head east, over.
Going back to tie on it now, over.
170, one more. Half tie. 10 feet on the 170. Stop stretch 170.
Once they're hooked on, 170 pulls the 1011 out onto the main. The conductor counts down engine lengths till they clear the derail so he can reset it and lock it so nothing rolls out or into the rip track.
Oh, one more. Half. Yeah, should do all clear 170.
Stand up. Radio West 8, first stop. A&D rail has been locked in line normal.
The crew returns all 4 engines back to their train and promptly departs Letonia.
About a half car 170. 70, 10 feet. Stop stretch 170. That's good stretch 170. That's 80, 60. 3-step for the conductor room.
Alright, so that was the 170 you saw blasting off kind of out of Latonia. I just took a dinner break, and now we're sitting at Bull Creek Road in Columbiana. I believe I have another 2 eastbounds lined my way. However, I think I am going to go check the signals at CP Lum to see if there's a westbound. When I passed by there a few minutes ago, they were red. But we'll try again with them and see.
2,000 years later.
So all red boards at CP Lum. Looks like we've hit our dead hour. It's kind of just slacking off here a little bit. We do have 2 eastbounds, though, around Alliance. First one is a 202. I'm assuming that's a bare table repo move. I don't know for sure. The one behind it, though, is 22X. So I'm going to put the Alliance feed back on and start listening. That is the Latonia detector. So I think our 202 is a little closer than I thought. The approaching eastbound was not 202. It was 60N, loaded frac sand from the CPKC in Bentonville, Illinois for Avonmore, Pennsylvania. NS 9941 leads with its beautiful K5 LLA horn. That 202 would eventually appear behind the 60N. It wasn't a bare table move like I originally thought. Rather, it was a temporary replacement for 22H, which had recently been abolished. 202 originates from the Ashland Avenue Yard in Chicago and runs to Croxton, New Jersey. This was the only one I ever shot, as in later months it would become the 256. On its way to Croxton, the 202 makes a stop at the GI-8 Intermodal Facility in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania. The train is made up of various blocks from both the Union Pacific and the BNSF. All the JB Hunt containers come from BNSF and go to Croxton, while the hub group EMP, Swift, and Maritime containers are off the UP and are set out at GI-8. In November of 2025, the 202 officially became 256. Shockingly, in contrast with symbology rules dating back to top SPG, 256 is classified as a premium train. My final catch to close out this incredibly busy day would be one of my favorites, the 22X. Bye.